Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Groom's Perspective with your hosts Martha Haring and Katie Mosdale. We're opening the stable door and delving into the highs and lows of the eventing world via Spotify, Apple and all good podcasting platforms. For the video edition, please visit The Groom's Perspective via YouTube or say hello back on our Instagram. But for now, here's this week's episode.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Groom's Perspective with Katie and Martha. Today we're going to discuss our life as a groom and what our normal day-to-day looks like. Yeah. But first, I'm going to ask you how you feel about our last episode and what it's been like since we've watched those clips back.
Terrifying.
Literally.
Yeah. Like we knew we were doing something out of our comfort zone. But it very much is, isn't it?
Yeah, massively.
Yeah. So, no, like one part of me, I'm really, like, we've done really well, we're doing it. And the other half is like, the introvert in me is absolutely hating
like
this.
Wants to run away.
Yeah, literally. By Jan, we're off.
Yeah, I know. Like when we walk to the field to get horses in the morning, I'm like, oh, I don't think we can post this. Like I feel so like out of my comfort zone. But then when we get chatting like this, it actually all feels okay again.
Yeah, exactly. Or even just like when we're out hacking and we're just chatting away and I'm like, this is good podcast material.
Yeah.
But then when it comes into doing it, I'm like, oh God. But I'm glad you did it. And also, we've had some really nice feedback, which has been that's certainly really helped me. Like there's been a lot of support from all different people.
Yeah.
And Jan hasn't judged us too much.
No, she hasn't. She's actually been very supportive.
Yeah, that's probably been the worst. Anything is the worst approval to get. So I think that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we go. We try again.
Yes, episode 2.
Here we go.
Yeah. So, let's just talk through what our morning would look like as a groom, and and then go through the motions of the day, and then we'll talk about a recent event we went to and what we did in the lead up and on the day. So
yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, I mean, firstly, I would say no 2 days are the same ever. There's a normal day, but any day is never a normal day. But for us, we start 7. Horses get fed. Come out. Horses get fed. That's the first thing. And we make their feeds up fresh in the morning. Someone feeds while someone hays round. And then whilst they're out in the fields, it's kind of just we have a group that go out overnight. They come in, we look at the plan, first lot go out, and then muck out in the morning, really. And that takes us to, 9, 10-ish?
Yeah, so that would be split between, it would be, there's 4 of us, but then obviously each of us have a day off in the week, so potentially sometimes there's 3 or 4, and then we obviously have 2 barns, so
yeah, we've got 20. We've got about 20.
I was 20.
Yeah, we're 20 at the moment, so maximum we can have in is 22.
Right,
but 20 is a nice
even number.
Nice even number, yeah. I mean, 14's a nice number.
10 is a nice even number.
But no, we've got a good staff to horse ratio. And like you said, we all have a day off, and then we all have a half day off as well, each week. So, and usually the half day is an afternoon off, so there is enough hands on deck in the morning. Yeah, I think that's when
I prefer working mornings. So I've done both. I've had a morning off and I've had an afternoon off, but I prefer working mornings because when you're up, and you just want to get the yard done, and then you can have the afternoon to go and do stuff. Yeah. Whereas I find when I have a morning off, I'm just waiting to come into work.
Yeah, no, I'm exactly the same as you. I feel like I get up and then I'm just kind of clock watching to wait until I come into work.
Yeah.
So an afternoon is definitely like once you finish, you walk away.
Off. Yeah.
Kind of thing. No, I'd agree with you there.
That's quite nice. So yeah, so we'll get up. We'll be on the yard for 7. Although this morning it was 3 minutes past 7.
3 minutes. We were late this morning.
We were late because I was icing a cake at 5:30.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
And it went disastrously wrong.
Yeah. So we have like an order in which we get up.
Yeah. So the morning routine is quite a funny one, really. So there's 4 of us here full time, and we all live on site, and we share a cottage, the 4 of us, and it's a really nice little cottage that we have. Nice. We're really lucky. It's not a caravan, and we've got a wood burner, and it's just
really
it's a nice thing, and we all cook together and share the cleaning and the cooking and everything. But in the morning there is a strict routine, and if someone messes up,
we're late.
Everything goes wrong. So
no, well, I wait for you to wake up because I can hear your alarm go off, and then when you get up, I'm like, oh, okay, Katie's up, I need to get up now. So if you're late, I'm late.
Yeah, I'm up first. I need to be up first, and we only have one bathroom between us, so I have the 6:20 slot. Yeah,
I take the 6:30 slot.
Becky is the 7:20, and Esme is the 10:07. But if one of us goes wrong, it's a nightmare.
It is. And then we're rushing, and 4 in a kitchen trying to make coffee is hard.
It's not good.
It's not good.
If I miss my slot, I then can't get in till about 3 minutes to 7, and I'll literally be crossing my legs needing a wee because everyone else is in the bathroom. I'm like, oh, this is awful.
I know.
But yeah, no.
And I need to sit, and also it's nice to sit down and have a coffee in the morning before we come out to
prepare
work.
ourselves.
This morning I was walking out with my coffee in hand because I tried to ice a cake.
Yeah,
I should have got up earlier, but
never happens.
Never happens.
So
then obviously we come out, like you say, we feed, we hay, and then we would start the morning routine, muck out, and then we'd have the first horses kind of tacked up by like 8:30. Yeah. Between 8:30 and 9:30.
Yeah. Jan isn't an early riser. She needs at least 2 coffees to start the day, but no, she doesn't tend to ride too early. But it fits in with our routine.
Yeah.
That is our routine. And not gonna lie, over the years I've tried to change her, but it doesn't work. Like, she just digs her heels in more. So you just gotta go with the flow. And it's fine. It works well now. So yeah, we tend to have one ready for Jan to ride.
Yeah.
And then, you know, once the kind of morning's mucking's out done, we go in, grab some breakfast, take 20 minutes, go and grab another coffee. Eat some food, and then
bring snacks out.
Bring a lot of snacks out, a lot of chocolate out.
Communal snacks.
And then crack on with the ride list. So every day Jan sends the diary. It's like the Bible of the yard, which has every horse in, what they're doing that day, and then doesn't really put much order, does it? She more leaves that for us to decide.
And I feel like a lot of people can relate when you get the diary and you can see like what horse is doing what, and sometimes it's not a good list.
It's not a good list, no, especially as Jan isn't an early riser, but she is a late finisher. She goes to bed late, so she sends the diary quite late at night, so it's the first thing I see when I wake up. And I'm like, oh God, I've got so-and-so to lunch. And I just like, oh no, not today.
And then we're taking 6 galloping.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, we're going to the gallops with 6.
We're not going to be home till 10.
So yeah, the diary, it's sometimes the diary of doom. But, so yeah, we crack on riding, and we both do a bit of riding, don't we? Jan does most of the school, like, to be honest, she does pretty much all the schooling. Yeah. Unless she's not here, she does ride most of them, and she does a lot of hacking as well, to be fair. She likes riding. She doesn't like doing the organisational. That stresses her out. But the riding, she does. And I've got a lot of respect for that. She has her horses that she competes for her owners, and she wants them to go to the competitions as best prepped as possible. And that is her riding them 5 days a week.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's obviously that's all I know, but what about you with working for other riders?
Yeah, so similar. Yeah. And I was surprised because you see riders and they've got quite a big team, and I assume that a lot of people, like a lot of the grooms will ride, but actually in my experience it is the rider, obviously the main event rider doing all of the riding. And I think it's worth noting because obviously the grooms do get a lot of recognition for doing all the yard work, and we do have to get up early and do the extra jobs, but actually riding 11 horses a day, like I don't think I could do it. And no. I know I'm mucking out in the morning, then I ride my own and I ride maybe a couple more, but actually back to back riding 10, 11, 12 horses, that it's knackering, I can imagine.
Yeah, and when the only time I have to do that is usually when Jan's fallen off and is injured, and I literally remember she was in hospital and I rode 12. And I was like, yeah, this is great. And then like the next day, honestly, I had such a sore bum. Like, I was like, how does she do this? Had to get the seat saver out the next day.
Don't forget the seat saver.
Always get the seat saver. At first I judged the seat saver. Now always hacking a seat saver.
I see. I don't think I could put a seat saver on my saddle. It would ruin the look.
No, you gotta.
I see. I don't ride many horses in a day. You can tell. It ruins the aesthetic.
It's all about the aesthetic.
Yeah. So then in our day, we would then kind of fit our horses in around what the other horses are doing. So we kind of speak to each other and we'll go, you've got an hour. Do you want to do yours now, or do you want help with this? Or we kind of are quite flexible with when we get to choose to do our own.
Yeah, we just fit them in around the day. It'll be, as look at the diary and I'll be like, oh, there's a few jumping. Does anyone want to have a jump today? Or, you know, when do you want to do yours? Or why don't you ride in the school whilst Jan's schooling one, and then she can give you a hand, that kind of thing. So we all just we just communicate that between us, but the horses always get done in the working day. Ours done, you know. And for me, that's really important, because I know that even if I reliably finished at 5 o'clock every night, or even 4 o'clock, at the end of the day, I wouldn't want to do mine as much as I do just fitting it in the day. You've just got more, like for me, I've just got more energy.
Yeah.
I think mine would become a bit of a chore at the end of the day, and you're tired and you're like, oh, you know, having to do it.
And what I really like about it here is that our horses are just considered part of the yard, and they get the same treatment as, you know, the top event horses. Our horses are treated exactly the same. We're all allowed, because the routine of the horses is everything gets thoroughly brushed every single day. You know, when they come out of the stable, they get their feet picked out, they get brushed. And when they're finished with, they get their feet washed with hoof oil on back in the stable, brushed. And our horses get the same treatment, whether we're doing them or not.
Yes.
So we have a lot of time for our horses do get.
Yeah, they get exactly the same as.
Yeah. And I think that's
horses.
really important, because then it makes us feel like part of the team even more, because our horses are getting treated as part of the team, which they are.
Yeah.
But it's hard, I think, for riders that have got quite a few horses. Like their event horses are their focus, and the groom's horses aren't on their
radar as
list.
much.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I've never really thought of it like that before, but they are. Like,
that's when I came here and Tommy's name was already on the board, and I said, is that my Tommy, or have you guys got a horse called Tommy? And you're like, no, that's your horse. And I was like, oh wow, like he's been here 2 hours and he's on the board. Like,
they're just part. They are part of the team.
And that I have a lot of trust, if I was away, that my horse would be looked after. It's the same as the others, and I'm a massive control freak, so I hate not doing my horse, but I have full faith.
Thank you.
Even if he is a pain, but you know, I think that's really important, in that our horses do get treated the same as every horse is treated the same. They all get exactly the same care, and their care is the top priority, and everything gets treated as they should.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Which is a big factor. So then, obviously, after the riding's done, the horses that get ridden in the morning will go out in the fields in the afternoon, and then vice versa. And then we'll feed at about 4:45.
Yeah. So yeah, we kind of start finishing up about 4-ish, don't we? So in the afternoon, try and get any jobs done, and all go in for lunch as well. Again, like we don't have a set lunchtime. We kind of work it around the day. So kind of looking at what's happening. Usually when we've finished riding, really, I know I don't like to go in for lunch before I've finished riding, because I feel like I'm just really stodgy. I usually go in, eat loads, and then I come out and I'm like, oh God, I've got to ride, I'll get a stitch. So I tend to try and get the riding finished, and then lunch, like 2-3-ish.
That's all we talk about in the day. It's like, what's for lunch?
Yeah.
Like,
or what's for tea?
What's for tea? That's a big one.
Yeah, especially as we cook for each other. So we, at the start of the week, like we plan who's cooking what night, which is great, because it means you only have to cook 2 nights a week. And you get cooked for the other nights. But I do get a bit nervous if I know it's not me cooking and I haven't seen anyone get any food out the freezer, and I'm like, oh, what are we having?
You're like the first one. You're like, just ask, like, what's for dinner?
That's literally me. Especially if it gets to like 12 o'clock and I'm like, there's no food out the freezer. Just wondering who's cooking. Know full well who's cooking.
Oh no, it's Martha. For fuck's sake, it's pasta again.
Yeah, all the worst is when I'm like, and then they're like, oh, it's you, and I'm like, oh God, get some food
I'm
out.
cooking. Oh shit.
Yeah. So no, that is always our conversation, is what's the next meal.
So and then that is why we can't ride after lunch, because we just love food.
Eat too much at lunchtime. Keeps us going.
It does. And the thing is, when you're on your feet all day, you do need to eat, and that's what keeps us going. I mean, we do try and be healthy with our food choices.
Because most of the time,
because if you just I find if I eat loads of sugar, then by like 3-4 o'clock I'm just so tired,
crashing.
But if I eat good food, then I can last
No, it is.
to the end of the day.
But yeah, it's probably crazy. It would be crazy to think how much like food I actually eat. But I very rarely do less than 35,000 steps.
Easily.
A
Yeah,
day.
what was it? I did 35 kilometres the other day. Would
Yeah.
that be right? Yeah, my friend
Yeah,
was
probably
like, yeah,
was,
you've done.
yeah.
I mean, I think I did score 2 horses, but
I was about to say, I'd say I do 35,000. Some days I hit 50 if I do 5 hacks. Get the bonus steps.
I know, and everyone that's on my Apple Watch, like, because it shares your data with your friends, and I know they see that all my rings have closed, and I'm like, yeah, I've done all my exercise by 9 a.m. in the morning, and I'm like, yeah, beat that. And I'm getting paid to do it.
Yeah.
And my friend's done a gym workout. She's done 1 kilometre, and I'm like,
Well done.
well done.
Tough.
The perks of our job.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of the daily routine. Like start finish up like 4, hay around again. They get skipped out, you know, like, quite a lot.
We were
really.
working it out, weren't we?
Yeah, we actually reckon they get mucked out or skipped out 5 times a day.
Yeah.
So their beds are always pretty clean. And then finish up, feed, put the guys out that go out overnight, and then finish up. We don't have a set finishing time. It's usually by 6. In winter, we're consistently finished by 5 every day. You know, we've got less horses in, or when we've got horses on holiday and that kind of thing. Summer, it's more 6 because by the time you've turned them out after feeding them, I'd say it's more. That's about right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And then with the feeding, we always feed like when we're on the yard. Like we would never feed a horse and then just go inside.
Yeah.
We always make sure because then you can keep an eye on what they've eaten.
Yeah.
And if they haven't eaten, and just like little things like that, and monitor it. And then obviously we go in, and then we would do late night checks.
Mm-hmm.
So we come out anytime after 8.
Yeah.
And everything gets skipped out again.
Yeah.
And so like at the moment, because the weather's a bit strange, like it's quite hot in the day, and then when the sun goes in, it's actually quite cold. So we'll put like their sheets on when we finish, and then when we come back out at late, they get their fix on.
Yeah.
They're like heavy.
The weather
rugs.
is a bit of I do find this. I was thinking earlier, like how our morning turnout lot go out in thin at the moment, like this last week. Morning lot go out in thin turnout rugs. Afternoon lot, it's warm. They're out in fly rugs, and then our evening lot are out in thick turnout rugs.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's, you know, if you actually just had one horse that was out all the time, that'd be really hard work.
How'd you cater for
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Because it's freezing overnight, but then it's up to 15, 16 in the day with the sun. Not that I'm complaining about the sun, because this is an absolute bonus, but there is a lot of rug changing.
Yeah. But and it's easier for us because we're just in the routine. And like we've got the system that works, so it's easy to just chuck a rug on or take a rug off, or because we do so much with the horses every day. You can, we're in the we go in their stables 4 or 5 times, so it's easy to just chuck a rug on, take a rug off, see if the horse is hot or not. But like you say, if your horse is out in the field and you're at work, it'd be really hard to get there to change the rug, or how would you know? I'd really stress.
Yeah,
I put the right rug on.
And then I also do think I think they are more resilient than we think they are.
For sure.
Like, obviously we are in a position where we can micromanage their rugs, because like you say, we're in the stables all the time, and they get worked, and then we can put something different on them, and there's lots of us, there's staff, there's this. But I do think it's such a, and everyone also has an opinion on it, even from rider to rider. But someone on your livery yard will say you need another rug on, someone will say it needs to be naked. Like, I do think get your system and stick with it and be happy with it.
Yeah, and like your horse. We know
Yeah,
the horse.
that's
Like
the thing.
we know what horse
Yeah.
needs what. Like we have horses here that would be too hot in a rug that the horse next door is in.
Yes.
And you just got to like
Accommodate that.
Yeah, accommodate their individual needs.
Yeah, exactly. There's one that you think, they will always be hotter than the rest of the yard, and they need one less on or whatever.
Or if they're a bit fat.
Or if they're a bit fat, yeah, and we're trying to get them to lose weight.
Especially now it's the event season.
But yeah, so yeah, lates is just a check over, really, isn't it? We want to check that nothing's colicking. That's they've been known on the yard for 4 hours or whatever. Check that everything's all right. Check they're warm enough. Check they've got hay. Check that the automatic drinkers are working. And then, like you say, we do actually whiz around and skip out. Not gonna lie, late is not my favourite time of the day. I would quite happily just go to bed.
But see, it's better now. But I found in the winter, when we go inside and the log burner's on and it's warm, and then you've got to come back out in the freezing cold.
Yes. Yeah.
But now it's fine. I can come out in my pajamas.
Yeah, and also like it's still light, which always makes that makes a big difference. But it always does make the morning better if we've skipped out at late.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit extra work at night, but then actually it's less work in the morning, so it equals itself out.
And I always say that about this job. Like everything you do is to make the next hour, the next day, the next week easier. Like you're always doing something to make it easier for yourself the next day. I think that's my motto.
Yeah, and if you stick with that, then it just, like you say, it makes things easier, for sure.
So yeah, that's kind of our day really, isn't it?
Our day-to-day routine, yeah. So for example, this morning we went to Summerford with 6 cross country. So we actually did start at 7. We started at normal time.
7:03.
7:03 actually.
Sorry, Jan.
We might have left the house at 7. It took 3 minutes to walk to the barn. So yeah, we started at 7, and then the guys that were going cross country, we didn't turn them out because we were leaving before they would have come in. So the horses that were going, mine had a bath because he's grey. So
hate greys.
Yeah, hate greys. So he had a bath, and then he went on the walker, and they all went on the walker, and then they come off like in accordance to when they went on, and then we start getting them ready, and then they go on the lorry, and then we left at 10:30?
Yeah, about 10:30ish,
and got there for 12. Yeah, so that was good fun. We took 6, and then we did it in pairs. So Jan was on one, and then I rode mine, and we went down to the cross country, and that was good fun.
Yep.
And then we left Summerford at about what?
It's about 5:30.
5:30.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was about
about 5:30. So that was a really nice day for us because we were off the yard, and the weather was lovely, and we got to go cross country, and that was all good fun.
Yeah, and they went well.
They all went well.
Yeah, and we took a baby as well for his first time out ever, so that's always quite cute. And he wasn't too hard work actually.
No, he was a really good boy. Yeah, he was a really good boy.
So did a bit of a mix from a couple of more experienced ones needed a quick tune up. And then a couple of babies got to go and have a thing, like have a play around. And it's always, we never take them for the sake of it, do we? Like cross-country schooling, like there's always a reason. So we're at Speetley this weekend. So we looked at the list, and there was probably 3 of them that we felt needed a cross-country school before then. The other 3 that are going didn't, so they don't go. Mainly just save your money and save their legs. You know, if they don't need it, don't do it. And then a couple of like youngsters, like the youngsters go out a lot more. For example, like your boy, he's at the moment, he's at a stage where he just needs to gain experience and exposure. So if there's a space on the lorry, he tends to go.
Yeah, and that's what I said to Jan when we were hacking down. I was like, thanks for bringing him. And I was like, it's just nice to have him out, like just to put him on the lorry so he just leaves the yard.
Yeah.
And then because in a competition morning, he doesn't get stressed, but he's just more fidgety because he knows he's going somewhere. So I think the more times we can get him out, and it's similar to a lot of the younger ones, like just a trip on the lorry.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like to me, it's almost more educational for them to take 6 on the lorry. You take 1 off, and Jan goes off with it, and then we've got to swap over 5, and it's actually more educational for them to all stand still with 1 person holding them. You stand there, right, put this one up, put this one on. And they end up, so like the 4-year-old that we took out, it's the first time he's been on the lorry today, and he was a bit hesitant to load when we left the yard. By the time he'd been up and down that ramp 3 times whilst we were there.
He loaded himself.
We're changing over. And actually he's learned as much from that as he has from his session.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
well, it's good, but like you say, it's good practice for them, because if we get to an event and they're not happy standing on the lorry all day, or they're not happy moving positions on the lorry, then that creates a problem. But if we can do that in practice and they can get used to that routine and that setup, then it's worth doing. And that's why we do it. Yeah,
definitely. So that was kind of today, and that's all in prep for their event at the weekend. So we kind of worked out things. So then actually everyone that's been cross-country schooling today will have a day off tomorrow. And then that'll be Thursday. So then, maybe a hack and a school before the weekend. The ones that haven't been will probably have a jump at some point, kind of thing. And then be set up and ready to go eventing this weekend.
Yeah, and I think that's really good that they've been out on the lorry before the event, and it's nice for us to get
Yeah.
our eye in a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it's us that need to get our
Yeah,
eye
let's
in.
be honest, Tim. The horse isn't really green. It's just me.
It's just the rider
Just
needs.
the rider needs to go out. I know. I was in the lorry and I was like, I feel nervous. And Jan's like, you've been here 3 times. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I'm still nervous. I get a grip. And then I got on the horse and I was like, yeah, I'm fine.
Fine now.
Fine now. See you in a bit.
He was great.
He was a good boy. So that was good. But then obviously, so that would be our day-to-day routine on the yard and if we go off travelling. But then obviously we did go to Thorsby International last weekend and we had 4.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell everyone what time we got up?
Yeah. I don't know if it's worse to say that it wasn't too bad.
It actually wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. It was, I think my first alarm went off at 20 to 3.
Yeah, I set mine for 2:30
Yeah.
because I
10 minutes snooze.
I need 10 minutes to wake up.
Yeah, but then I think mine actually woke you up anyway because I
Yeah,
was
I
out
heard
that far away.
It was awful. It's like the alarm bells. Oh God,
So
I don't need to hear that this morning.
I have to set different alarms on an event morning. I have such fear of not getting up.
What, different noises?
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So on a normal day, I have a normal alarm, and then I, snooze it. I have my 4 that go off in my routine, but I can turn them off in my sleep now. Yes.
Oh,
So
I don't do that.
yeah, so I do that. So quite often I do that, and then I hear Becky coming. If I do it on a normal day, Becky comes down the stairs at 20 to 7. I've missed my bathroom slot, and all my alarms have turned off thanks to me. So on an event morning, I set about 7 to 8 alarms, 1 minute apart. 2:30, 2:31, 2:33.
Like you will get up.
Yeah, you will get up, and they're all random noises, and I always wait. I even have like the dog barking one.
I think that's what got me. It was horrendous.
Yeah, it is horrendous. Even Beanie, like the dog on the bed, starts like barking back at the dog, and I wake up like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh wait, it's just 2:30 and he's going to feed some horses. I don't know.
And then we had this debate when we got up. Whatever time it was, and we were like, can we put the coffee machine on? Because it was noisy.
Yeah, can we wake up the other girls?
Can we wake up the other girls? And we were like, yes, we can put the coffee machine on.
Yeah. Sorry guys.
Sorry guys, we need this coffee. It's 2:30.
Yeah, obviously that is an essential. So yeah, we were leaving at 4:30. So we feed an hour and a half before we're planning to leave, which is quite a lot really.
So it would be when I've worked on other yards, it's longer than what I would normally.
Yeah.
We would normally have done. We usually feed an hour before
Yeah.
we leave, but yeah. So we would feed an hour and a half, and it gives them more time to eat.
Yeah.
And then a lot of things, and if they've got stains, and then we can wash them. And
Yeah, if we've got a grey, who'd own a grey?
who would own a grey?
Yeah, if there's 3 greys going, it's like, oh God, better allow 2 hours.
Yeah, just don't go to sleep.
Thing. But yeah, so you chuck their feeds in, and then we would grab the ice out the freezer, put any get them ramped down, that kind of thing for the lorry. And then whilst they're eating, we might even muck out those guys. It's not an essential, but I always think it's better than us standing around waiting for them to finish eating, and it just helps the guys at home. Like the home grooms are the unsung heroes of the groom job. They don't get the press that the travelling grooms get, all the nice photos at the events, all that kind of thing. And I just think a small gesture like that, they come out on the yard at 7 and they see that 3 stables have been mucked out. It just gives them a bit of a boost at 7. I know certainly when I'm left at home, if you come out and the yard is an absolute bomb, you're a bit like, oh God, we're starting like this. So if I do leave it like that, I send a message like, really sorry, so-and-so had rolled and was really, or rubbed all their plats out and I couldn't do anything.
I didn't wake up to my alarm.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it was the horses. They were filthy. I had to wash all of them.
Definitely not just flying around the yard trying to get them loaded.
Yeah.
Have you ever not got up in the morning?
No, I'm way too anxious. I'm always up. Yeah, I might be late because I am naturally a late person. Anyone who knows me knows I'm late for everything. Yeah. But I'm always on the yard. But I feel like maybe your many alarms suggest that you haven't got up
the many alarms is a result of a bad experience.
Go on.
So we're going down to Hickstead actually for the next gen finals, and we had to leave at 3 in the morning, and we'd had a really busy run up to it, and we'd finished really late the night before. I think the lorry had broken and we'd had to go and collect it from the mechanic late on and pack it and stuff. I shouldn't have gone to bed. Hindsight is a wonderful thing, because it was about 1, and we were staying down at Hickstead, so I had to like pack the lorry for 4 horses. And I remember thinking, I want to say it was like 12 o'clock at night, and I go to bed at about 9 o'clock at night normally. And so I went to bed then, and I had to be up in like an hour and a half, and I just turned my alarms off. And I'd woken up to a phone call, and my phone says who's ringing me out loud. So I literally wake up and it's like, Jeanette Breakwell. I wake up like, oh my God. And she's like, are you on the yard? And I'm like lying in bed like, oh my God, go. I think absolute panic. And she's like, don't panic, it's okay. By which time I've already put the phone down. I'm like slamming the doors around the house, literally ran into like one of the girls' rooms. I was like, I've slept in, you need to come and help. She was literally like, are you actually joking me? Kind of thing. Oh, it was awful. I'm traumatized.
But you won't do it again.
No, I won't. I'll set 8 alarms with barking dogs.
At least I'll be up, so I'll get you up.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, I probably would be like, oh, Katie's already done it. It's fine. The lights are off. The horses are on the lorry.
They must be on the lorry. So yeah, but it does work both ways, because I'm the same with Jan. Like, we've loaded the horses in, and if I've not seen her kitchen light come on, I'm a bit like, oh, is she awake? Get dialing. The horses are on the lorry.
Yeah, we're ready to go. Yeah. Where are you?
But, you know.
We're going to be late now.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done it once, never to be repeated.
It won't be repeated. I know, that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to make a mistake.
Exactly.
To learn from it.
Yeah. And I mean, Jan was fine about it.
Yeah, and
We got there late anyway. We would have been late anyway, so
no
never
harm.
mind.
It was worth the sleep.
It was worth the extra hour.
So back to Thorsby. So we loaded at 4:30, and I think we arrived at 6:30.
Yeah, about that.
So you had one competing.
Yeah, so I had one of my guys competing, and Jan had 3, and they were all in the novice. So you came along as well to help us, because with that they were all quite tight times. Because we do ride and groom at the same time without someone else there.
Yeah.
But the times were just looking like Jan was going to be late for show jumping if there wasn't an extra pair of hands. So yeah, we went off and walked the course, and you kind of started studying up.
Yeah, so we had 4 on the lorry, so I've studied all of them up before you guys were back, and then I went and got the numbers whilst you were walking the course, and then I think we timed it really well, because I saw you guys coming back from course walk, and I'd put the bridle on the first horse, and then he was coming off the lorry to tack him up anyway. Yeah. So they were all ready when you got back stud wise, and then we tacked 2 up, and then you both got on and went to dressage, and then I got the others ready for when you got back.
It is a production line, isn't it? It's like one goes off to dressage, the next one gets tacked up ready, comes off the lorry, has about 10-15 minute walk before Jan gets on them. They're hoof-oiled, quarter-marked, and then Jan comes back from dressage, especially if she's got a few and there's only, 40 minutes between. It's like swap over, hop off the next one, untack that, swap over the lorry, off we go again.
Yeah, and then so we would get all the tack out that we need for that horse. So once that horse, so say you got on the horse and rode off to dressage, then my plan is get the tack out for the next horse. So I'd get the saddle pad, the half pad, the saddle, the girth, the bridle, the bit, the ear bonnet, and have it ready, so that when that horse comes off, or if I'm tacking up on the lorry, it's all there in order. Because I think if you're not organised, you'd very quickly lose time trying to think about what you need and what you don't need. And then obviously when you get back from dressage, if we're not using that tack again, I'll strip the tack, put the bit in the water, clean. Everything gets clean, but potentially we would do that at the end of the day.
Yes, if you're struggling for time, But tack gets cleaned at an event, which I really like, actually, because you come home and it's all clean.
Yeah, you get out of the locker and it can go straight on the shelf.
Yeah, get straight on the shelf. Like the thought of coming back and having sometimes we take 10, 12 saddles to an event, and I thought of coming back and seeing that all the next day.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so no, it just gets done as the event goes. Kind of thing. So yeah, we got dressage. The timings worked, so I cracked on with Jet. I went straight to show jumping and then straight to cross country, and Mark at the cross country one, what was really helpful, he slotted me in because I was really conscious to get back, because we're going to have to take Jeanette's 3 to show jumping together, kind of thing. So I managed to actually crack on, had a really good run, got back, stripped him, washed him, put his ice on, and then off we went to show jumping, didn't we? It was kind of like, I've done mine and I've done my round, but straight back onto the grooming side, which I really like, to be honest, because, you know, you just crack on.
Yeah, I really like it as well because it helps my nerves because
Yes, you don't have time to think about yourself too much.
no, and it's like it's very organised and structured. So I'm on at this time, I need to be off at this time, I need to get this horse ready at this time, and it's like you don't have time to overthink.
No, or dwell.
Round.
Yeah,
no.
if anything's gone wrong, you don't have time to dwell on it.
That's it. I was dwelling after Northallerton because I had a pole down, and I came back to the lorry with like a face like thunder, and everyone's like, "Get a grip," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I've got another horse to tack up now.
Yeah, I'll get over myself."
It.
Yeah, no, I do think if you've had a bad thing, you just like, sorry, you got to park it because you've got to focus on the next thing.
Yeah, and if you're not focused, you miss stuff, and then the whole day is not running to plan. So then, so we took 3 horses. So Jan had got on one and already headed down to show jump.
Yeah.
And then we took 3.
But yeah, because we had to take Jet, didn't we? So yeah, we took her next 2, and then actually mine that had been cross country, he couldn't stay on the lorry on his own. So off he comes in hand as well with his ice on. Yeah. Off he comes to show jumping.
And we've got like a bag of stuff in either hand and 2 horses, like because we had to change over some boots and stuff. Yeah. So they were all really well behaved, and we stood at the side of the ring whilst like, has she gone in yet? Has she not gone in yet? Oh, she's on her way back, and then quick changeover, and it works really well. Yeah, no, it did. And then all back, and then cross country, it was just go through them. And off they go to cross country. The next one gets ready to go. That one comes back, get their ice on, wash them off. Then they have a bit of a hand graze, and then up on the lorry, studs out, all that kind of thing. Yeah. So it's a bit, I would say an event is certainly the best, like for me, it's certainly the best bit, but it is just the same way that home is just a system and a production line, an event is exactly the same. Yeah, and it has to work because at the end of the day, that's our job. It's the rider's job. That it is a job. Yeah. And I think it's worth noting, like when we go down to a cross-country start or a show jump start, and the stewards are generous in letting us go slightly before our time or slightly before the list, it does make the world of difference. Yeah, massively. And I know that like the new show jumping rule this year is you have to go into your times, isn't it? And actually, like at Thorsby, I actually ended up down there quite early, and I couldn't go early, which is fine because that is the rules. But I felt a bit stressed at that point because I was like, I need to crack on. But then when I got down to cross country, there was about 12 in the cross country warm up, and just Mark saying, look, is there any chance I can squeeze in because I need to get back to Jan's show jumping to get her there on time? And he said yes, and honestly, like that's such a relief as for like me and being in the groom's role. It's like, oh, thank God I can get me done and out the way and then focus again on my grooming job. And I've been at it from both sides, because before I became a groom, obviously I did event my horses. And me and Mum, I think we were at West Wilts, and we were down in the cross-country warm-up, and there's always a lot in the cross-country warm-up at West Wilts. Like, it's a massive warm-up, so they can fit a lot of you in there. And we were just queued up for ages, and I'd gone down for my time. And then these riders kept coming down and slotting in. And my mum was like, well, we were getting quite annoyed because, I'd warmed the horse up, and then suddenly I was just sat there, and then suddenly I get nervous because I'm just sat there and you overthink everything. So Mum was like, oh, it's not really fair that these riders are slotting in. Like, you were meant to go 10 minutes ago. And I was like, yeah, I wish I could have gone to my time. But actually now, from the other angle, yes, being a rider with multiple horses, it's not just the rider that's running to time. It's the grooms back at the lorry, and it's their job. Like, they've been up since like 1 a.m. Yeah, they want their day to run smoothly. They want to go home, and they've got horses to sort out when they get home. So actually letting them slot in. Yes, I certainly see that now from a different angle, because when I started eventing with my pony and we didn't know anything, I thought like, oh, professional riders just push in. Oh, massively. Yeah, it was just like, just because they've got a name or they've got a flag on the helmet. Just because they know the person on the show jump warm up. They could thing. And now I'm literally like, let me go. Please let me go. Like, please, 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 because it does make a massive difference. It's not that we want to be home earlier. It's the fact that we've literally got, if we take 5 horses to an event, that's 15 phases. There's 15 tack changes and that kind of thing to get through. And it's just to keep that production line going. It really helps when someone says like, yeah, you can slot in front of me. Yeah. And I think we've seen it from both angles, and yeah, now we want to slot in. So. Now we want to slot in. I apologise to anyone that I push in before. I'm so sorry. But my horse isn't good in busy warm-ups either. So just let me go. Let me go, please. Just let me go. So yeah, that was kind of Thorsby really, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a really good day. Yeah, really nice. And a fantastic event, I would say. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, had a really nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
And the ground was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hoping we'll be back there next year.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah.
So
No,
then,
definitely.
so we got back to the yard, and then everything comes off the lorry,
Mm-hmm.
and we take all of their kit off, and they go in their stables, and then whilst we're kind of sorting out the others on the lorry or just putting their kit to one side, they have the opportunity to drink and roll and eat their hay before they actually would get their hard feed in their stable. So they get 5 minutes to just
they always would just
breathe.
give them 5 minutes to come off the lorry. Quite often they'll want to drink, even though they've drunk plenty at an event, especially if it's been a long drive back. They get their head in the drink, and we want them to do that before they stuff their food down, especially if they're greedy, because they don't really care about how they're feeling. They just eat. Don't they?
Yeah.
So yeah, they could like come in, pick their feet out, and then again they all get a thorough groom. And especially after an event, that groom is also a bit of an inspection. You know, have they got any stud marks? How are their legs feeling? Is there any heat in the legs?
Yeah, especially if they've been stood on the lorry for 2 hours, then you know when you get them off, you're going to notice something.
Yeah.
Whereas
Even just like how do they walk off the lorry? Is that normal for them? That kind of thing, like, and stuff. So, and then just get their rugs on and leave them to bed, actually, and come and check them.
And then a couple of hours later, we'll be out
later
to check them and just make sure everyone that's been on the lorry. And it's the same for training. It's not necessarily a competition, but it's the same system if they're out. Whenever they go out on the lorry, it's the same system.
Yeah, they come back, we give them some time, and then probably 3-4 hours later, come and check them, that they're all happy and a thing. Like, it is all orientated around their welfare, and
100%. Yeah.
which is how it should be.
Yeah, definitely. And it's a little bit extra work, but it's just worth it for the peace of mind.
And for me as well, like, I actually, if we've been eventing and we've had a really long day and we go in and we've eaten and that kind of thing, I really like just coming out, not when we're skipping them out, not doing late, but when you just come out and just come and check them and, go and give them all a pat, check that then they're warm enough under their rugs, and just like, and I'm just a bit like, I'm always just like, I'm really proud of them today.
Yeah, we had a good day.
Yeah.
So to like when we finish filming this, obviously we're filming it in the tack room, and like my horse's stable is behind that wall.
Yeah.
So they've been out on the lorry today, and we did late a little earlier because we got back at 7:30.
Yeah.
So we skipped out and checked everyone then. But actually, when we finish this, we will go out and just cast an eye.
Check everyone's got enough hay for the night, and that kind of thing.
Make sure the ones that have travelled are okay and that they've drank some water and they're settled. Yeah. And that's what we'll do. And then we'll go to bed on time.
Yeah, we will have an early night.
We will. Well, that's what we said.
Every night.
Every night.
So yeah, that's kind of insight into life on the yard, really.
And what our day consists of.
Yeah. So
yeah. Anyway, episode 3. What's that about?
I think we're gonna get Jeanette Breakwell on.
I think we are. It's about time.
It's about time. She is not happy about it. She is putting up a fight, but we will win.
We will. We just need to find the time.
Yeah, make her sit down for an hour.
Yeah, should we call her out now? It's 20 to 10.
Yeah, it's
we're filming episode 3.
If you could come out right now. So yeah, next time we are going to get Jan on and talk not necessarily about her career and highlights or that kind of thing, but a bit more about how she got there and the hurdles. And she actually spent 4 years as an unpaid groom, so I'm sure she will tell you all about that.
Yeah. So, and then just ask, what does she look for in a groom, and what attributes do you need to have to be successful in this job, and what do we need to do to be successful here? Yeah, what do we need to do better? Yeah, I'm sure we'll find out.
Yeah. So yeah, we look forward to seeing you then, and good night.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah.